r/AskReddit.
Reddit.
Sometimes cheap and expensive items are the same thing, with the only difference being the brand name. What are some examples of this? You guys should see the stuff we deal with in the medical field. I wanted to get a mesh metal glove to protect myself when using a saw during autopsies. Our medical supplier, Fisher Scientific, sold the hospital a medical grade chainmail glove for $300. They forgot to take the Bass Pro Shops tag off. It was a $12 glove for cleaning fish. Their name should have been a giveaway, Fisher Scientific. Looks like it was Fisher's price. LMAO this. We needing some clips, looks exactly like plastic clips to seal our snacks, for our dialysis processes. $8 for a dozen on Amazon, and we spend $130 for 10. Lowly up. Anything listed as medical grade. The entirety of the tech side of the hospital consists of, here you go, we slapped an old useless tablet onto a cheap plastic carton, loaded it with one program that barely runs. That'll be $12,000. Actual manufacturing cost $3.50. I've heard it's the same sort of deal with items labeled as military grade. A lot of that stuff is pretty shit, according to people who have been in the military. Granted, military grade is pretty accurate in the sense that the stuff given to them is more reminiscent of a bare minimum than actual high quality stuff. So are you ordering the fish gloves now? They can. If for some reason something goes wrong during use of the gloves, it's an opening for the hospital, morgue, to be sued. In that sense, they're effectively paying for the medical grade guarantee rather than just the product itself. Costco Kirkland brand is often white-labeled brand name items. Kirkland might as well be a name brand. There are plenty of times where their quality has been better than the name brand. Not going to lie, until I read your comment I thought it was a name brand. I guess it depends on how to define name brand. It's technically a supermarket brand like Kroger, but it's known for being high quality. Sometimes their products are even better than the brand names, because Costco often stipulates tighter restrictions on quality from the manufacturers and in what we require internally. Costco Kirkland brand, in my experience, is often noticeably better quality than the branded equivalents that Costco stocks. I recall reading an article on organized crime involvement in the olive oil trade, that revealed many olive oil brands were mixed with cheaper oils. They did a test of the major brands to determine olive oil purity. One of the few that came out as 100% olive oil was Kirkland brand. Not even the gangsters of the olive oil trade death with the Costcos. Exactly the type of sentence I waste hours on Reddit for. Especially the Kirkland brand liquor. I've heard a lot of it comes from the same distilleries as top shelf liquor like Grey Goose or Patron. Edit. Lots of Grey Goose haters here. I understand where you're coming from. Please notice my inclusion of quotations marks around top shelf in my original comment. Aquarium nerds will know this one. Silicone. Aquariums are usually held together with silicone, and silicone is just 100% silicone, so it's a really predictable product no matter who makes it. Except, many brands for kitchen and bathroom sealing have added chemicals to keep mildew from growing on the cured silicone. This is a big no-no for aquariums, basically poison that would kill your aquarium pets. So you've gotta read the ingredients and information carefully to make sure it's not anti-mildew or anything dubious added. Or, you can pay double or triple for a pack of silicone with a big aquarium brand stamp. I used to work in a hardware store, and I was told that DAP makes both the cheap store brand silicone caulk and the expensive DAP branded stuff. For the equivalent product, kitchen, bath caulk, it was the same exact formula, but like you say, there are differences amongst the types of silicone, so don't just buy the cheapest product. ZzzQuil is at least a 200% markup from Benadryl. The only active ingredient in ZzzQuil is 25 mg of diphenhydramine, whereas Benadryl is also 25 mg of diphenhydramine. Or you can just buy the generic brand of 25 mg diphenhydramine and pay even less than for the pink Benadryl package. Generic is almost always the way to go. There is one prescription medication I take that I actually need brand. Sometimes the secondary ingredients change the effectiveness of the active ingredients for certain people. Diphenhydramine seems to work effectively regardless of manufacturer. There is one specific generic version of my birth control that mysteriously relieves the constant nausea some health problems I have caused and makes me actually hungry every single day. The generic brand my insurance wants me to take makes the nausea worse, so I pay $120 out of pocket for that specific brand of magic hunger anti-baby pills, and I've gained 15 bootylicious pounds since figuring that out. No one can explain it, but I can't argue with the results. Generics have the same active ingredients. However, the chemical composition of fillers or other ingredients used to make the pill can be different. This concoction can affect everyone differently even if the active ingredients are the same. I had a similar experience with my birth control too. Brand name went well, but when I went to the generic I would not stop crying for 2 weeks. The second I switched meds the symptoms went away. Everyone is different, and will respond to medications differently. I used to work food packaging for Kroger. Roasted peanuts, dry oatmeal flavored or unflavored, cereal, chips. When we changed from store brand to branded item, we would stop the line and change the box in the package. The food is the exact same. Exact. Edit. For one thing, this thread was great to read. We all shared something today. Lol. For another, although I thought it would be self-evident, not every type of cereal, not every type of chips. Those of you who love your brand, fuck yeah, I get it, Cascade all the way. It's better and no one is going to tell me different. But when we say there is no difference, we mean it. Food handlers unite. Serious question, why were brand name foods being packaged by Kroger? Didn't they come from the cereal company, or wherever, already in their respective packaging? Sorry if I'm misunderstanding. Post, for example, doesn't own the factories. They pay the factory to make them cereal and put it in their box. Kroger buys the same cereal and puts it in a different box. Edit. I don't know if Post specifically has their own factory. I was just using them as an example. Can replace them with any cereal manufacturer. I wonder if it's all cereals, or just certain ones. Because store brand, from Kroger and a few other places, for things like cocoa, Fruity Pebbles has a lot weaker of a taste, and less chocolatey milk, and in some cases, the cereal actually looks lighter in color to reflect this. I can tell you that once, my dad put off-brand Cocoa Pops into a branded box. Little kid me knew instantly it wasn't the good shit. I bought the store brand version Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and my phone never saw that box, had one bite and just said, no. Edit. One word. It's not all cereals. I used to work at a cereal plant that only made name brand. I also worked at a peanut butter factory that only made non-name brand. And I've worked at companies that make both. For a lot of store brand items, the product is not made by the highest price item. I think the Fruity Pebbles at Kroger are actually made by Malto Meal, who makes the big bulk bags. But the store brand Honey Bunches of Oats are the same. And it varies by which store and region. Kroger and Target might use the same supplier in New York and different suppliers in California. Soda is interesting too. Coca-Cola syrup is made in one factory and then shipped across the country to independent canning companies so they don't have to ship carbonated water around. But it also means that the can of Coke you get in WA can be slightly different than FL. I usually try to agree with this, but in experience the flavor is always a little different, maybe just a placebo. For example, the generic Raisin Bran has a decidedly different consistency than Post, almost as if it spent a little too much time in the oven. There was a study where people were MRI scanned while tasting wine. They tasted the same wine 3 times but labeled different prices. They had more pleasure chemically from the expensive bottle even though they were the same. Wink. There was also a study on the effect of prestige in academic paper publishing, which found that peer reviewers, when given the same academic paper to review with different bylines, Ivy authors versus lesser-known schools, tended to reject the papers by authors of lesser-known schools much more. Something to think about, I guess. Incidentally, it was also cited in the book The Elephant in the Brain, which is a look at hidden motivations behind our actions. Edit. I just realized the link I posted isn't the study I was referencing, though a similar one. I will find the study later. Must teach a class now. Edit 2. Peters D. Ceci's peer review practices of psychological journals, the fate of submitted articles, submitted again. Of Brain Sci 1982 5, 187 to 255. Please find the correct study here. Kirkland brand. Costco brand, 1 e.g., they are 81 mg aspirin $24.99 for 365 tablets. Kirkland 81 mg equivalent $4.99 for 365 tablets. Same active ingredient, big price difference. I work in marketing and did a ton of research on Costco. The Kirkland brand is known for their quality and fact that they won't put their name on a product unless independent market and product research shows it meets or exceeds whatever the industry leader is. Toothbrushes, chocolate-covered almonds, paper plates. Everything has to be better than the top-rated brand or it isn't good enough for the Kirkland label. Edit. I don't work for Costco or Kirkland, I work for a marketing agency and one of my clients was exploring white labeling their product for Kirkland. I was so impressed with Costco's commitment to quality. The deal fell through but they made me a fan for life. It goes even deeper than that. I used to work for a large company that supplied for Costco. If you have what they deem to be the premium product on the market, they will actually ask you to make the Kirkland brand. The catch is that it has to be at least 1% better than your product. That's not a joke. They'll identify a metric in which their Kirkland branded product has to be slightly better than your market-leading product. As a supplier, you jump on it, because the data is clear that it jacks your sales. Usually your product sits right next to theirs on the shelf. So the consumer has two choices. Yours, or yours, at slightly worse margin. You can be assured that the Kirkland brand is always the best, because it literally is. They sold gold balls for a while. They are like unicorns, they are never in stock, they were graded as Prov 1S, the best and most expensive ball on the market. Gold balls. What's a gold ball? Golf ball, it's a typo. Kirkland golf balls were phenomenal. Edit just, for real, though. Check out reviews on the Kirkland signature 4-piece golf ball. They're compared Titleist Pro V1S, the top of the line in golf balls. Edit 2 looks like Costco had to stop manufacturing them after they were sued by Titleist. Their chocolate-covered almonds are to die for. Always keep the package in my cupboard, lol. Chocolate and caramel-covered macadamia nut beaters. Kirkland. Man, this is so true. I've been immensely pleased with anything Kirkland brand I have purchased from the Kirkland, Grey Goose vodka, to the chocolate almonds. Top quality every time. Quick question. Is there a difference between cheap and expensive brand of bleach and rubbing alcohol? Yes, I'm aware of the recent news. No, this has nothing to do with that, I'm really just curious. No, though some are made from isopropyl alcohol and some from ethanol. But in any case, as long as you're comparing the same type, brand doesn't matter. Is there a difference between the two alcohols as far as use case? Ethanol is more volatile and more polar. It'll do a better job cleaning up water-soluble residues, while IPA will do a better job cleaning up the less water-soluble residues. In practice though, you likely won't notice a difference. I work in a lab where there is indeed a difference, but at home it's probably negligible. Subscribe to the channel and check out more Reddit videos here by me, Reddit Robin.